Hey guys, today we're bringing a very requested deck list, being the TRI-Brigade Fire King deck list. With this deck, I've been able to climb the ladder in DB rated up to 900 plus rating. I consider it to be the best version currently for Fire Kings, even over Sinful, since it does play better into a lot of cards that, well, Fire King and Sinful have issues playing through. So let's begin. Fractal. Why do I have Fractal at maximal, right? Why do I have him at 3? Because he is the only true 1-card starter. Aponix does provide a 1-card combo, but it's not as strong as what Fractal can actually provide, since you only end on a possibility of getting the XYZ, right? On the opponent's turn. While on the other hand, Fractal can provide you with Revolt and SP. Even though SP does block Revolt, overall, if it sequenced correctly into your favor, you do end up on 2 good interruptions plus follow-up. That's why we're also playing 3 Tenki. Now, Kit. Why are we playing 3 Kit? Kit has synergy with the majority of the deck, being Kit with any Tri-Beast monsters, Tri-Beast being a Beast Warrior Beast and Wing Beast. We're going to be saying Tri-Beast, okay? Has synergy with any Tri-Beast. It has synergy with Kirin, Sanctuary, Fire King Island, since they all destroy Kit without having to commit to your normal summon. And so yes, that's why we're also maxing the amount of kits that we have. Yes, post side going second. I do like to cut a kit to 2, as well as other cards. Nerval. Why do we play Nerval at 2? This is a very important decision when building the deck. Nerval at 3 is practically useless. The Nerval combos with Nerval with Sanctuary, Nerval with Ponix, Nerval with Field Spell are horrible. Really, just they don't do anything. Or if they end up doing something, you end up negating like 3 cards just to get 1 interruption. So Nerval is not a good card to keep at 3. I would really like to put it at 1, but the thing is that even if you draw Nerval, your combos, your TRI-Brigade combos just get several times weaker. So that's why we keep it at 2. Even post side, we never cut it down below 2, because if you draw a Nerval, your combos are they're subpar, honestly. So yes, it's a bad decision to leave Nerval at 1, and it's a bad decision to leave a Nerval at 3. Geras. Geras is basically the same situation as Nerval. Its combos with any other card are just horrible. It's even worse than Nerval in this case. But yes, its combos are just horrible unless you draw Geras plus Kit, right? So yeah, that's why we also play it at 1. It's a good card to begin your combos when you're going for a heavy start on your combo, or it's a good card when going second to give a good push, right? Revolt at 1. You don't need more than 1. 1 is fine. You don't always have to go for Revolt as your first play, since you can always incline more towards your Fire King combos. That's also one thing that you have to keep in mind. Sanctuary to 3 and Fire Island to 2. Sanctuary to 3 because again, you are maximizing on your starters. Sanctuary plus any fire is already Appaloosa plus Revolt. It's Sanctuary, Fire plus blank, right, that you return for Revolt. It's pretty simple. That's why we also want to maximize on Sanctuary. Island is also a good card, but since it's the one that has lower value and you don't really want to break on multiple, since you are already technically running 5 islands, we keep it at that much just for the follow-up. Again, post side going second, Sanctuary and Island can absolutely be cut by just 1. -1 Sanctuary, -1 Island, or even -2 Sanctuary. That's a really good space to add good and going second cards. Skyburn to 1. This is a card that I absolutely would like to run at 2. I consider that in a pure build, this being pure is anything without a secondary engine that is as heavy as, well, the TRI-Brigade one. I consider the Dogma to be pure. I consider the Sinful to be pure, and, well, any other variation that doesn't have a secondary engine that actually has a purpose, not just grabbing Ponix, being a pure. So yes, I consider that it has to be a staple 2 of in a pure version, just for the value that it provides when popping one of your Fire King monsters, being able to be searched by Ponix as another card. It's just insane. There's no reason to not play it at 2. But in this version, since you have 9 cards that are not Fire King cards, it's just not as much value that many times as in other versions. Arvata 2-1. Okay, so Arvata 2-1 is a very important decision. The only reason we are really just running Arvata is due to its capability of, when being destroyed, also being able to summon. Not just because of the negate, but because of that specifically. Its combos with Ponix is one of the strongest combos a pure fire build has. So that's also the reason why we're running it. And, well, it's not that harsh to run at 1, since we're also running 3 Tenkies. We have the versatility of Fractal and Arvata, so we're technically running 4 copies of Arvata. Kitting to 3, post side, you can, going second, you can cut 1. It's really good at 3, and I believe it's necessary at 3 due to the standard combo. The standard combo, you add 1 Gideon in the standby phase, you use Gideon, you send Gideon off of Garunix, you pop a card, you have 1 Gideon in deck that can also provide value on the very next turn when you go for the crackback, or just for the OTK, right? Ponix to 3. Ponix is, again, every Ponix combo where you normal and you have a fire in hand is a good combo, since you go through the Heat Soul line, and that's at base value 2 interruptions plus 2 draws, which is much better than just 2 interruptions. That's why we're also running it at 3. And 1 Barong. I consider, well, in any version, just 1 Barong being the correct amount. I'm guessing maybe in a version where you're maxing out an island and sanctuary because you're not running Dogma nor Sinful, just prosperity per se, maybe there you can run it at 2. But in this version specifically, you want to remove the amount of cards that don't actually do things in conjunction with others that are at a heavier amount, being the TRI-Brigade cards. I consider it not as valuable. That's why we're still keeping it at 1, right? Which should still be at 1 in any other version. Garunix to 1. This is a card that's been heavily debated on why is it at 1 in this version. In a pure version, you play it at 2. In regards to this version, I would say 1 is the correct number. Everyone would mention, how about getting Crowed? Crow is a card that might see more play in the upcoming formats, but still, in this version, it's not as impactful due to your Revolt being able to just cycle Garunix back in. That's why even in your combo, when you open Fractal plus Garunix, it's still viable to even banish Garunix for a Omen. It's still something that's viable because you do get it back with Revolt. It's a possibility, and I do consider it to be, well, a thing, right? Now, we go to extra deck. Since the non-engine cards, maybe just Crow might need an explanation. When performing all of your combos, you always get to the specific interaction where you end on your Revolt play and at the same time end on your Fire King play. So you always interact first with Revolt, then you go for the Fire King line, and when you use Sanctuary to make the XYZ, you end up popping your Omen, right? In this specific scenario, the majority of the time you pop Ponix, also with the Sanctuary, summoning the XYZ. So Ponix is already going to go back to hand in standby phase. When you activated Revolt, you used Nerval to add Kit, so Kit is already in your hand, so you don't need follow-up. That's why we're playing just one Crow, because in this specific situation, that is very consistent. It's a good card to have in your deck. Yeah, so that's why we're playing the one of Crow in main deck. Let's go then with the extra deck. Standard, 1 Bear Brum. Not as standard, 1 Ferjit. In testing, I've tested 2 to 1 Ferjit. The second one never comes up. It really never comes up. In a pure TRI-Brigade build, you would usually play 2, again for the crackback or for the OTK, because it's easier to use one the first turn and need the second one the second turn. But it's not as usual in this deck, because again, when going through your regular motions of the deck, you end up already having the Fire King crackback, and at the same time having the TRI-Brigade crackback. That's already too much of a push. You're already killing any deck in the format with just that. 2 Omen. 1 Omen is, as seen in the combo videos that I've put and that I might put on screen. Omen alone provides you with a combo to get into your Fire King stuff, opening a Fractal plus any Tri-Beast. So yeah, that's why you need 2. 1 to get into the combo, the second to, well, interrupt with Revolt or even go for the crackback. 1 Double Dragon Lords. I consider Double Dragon Lords to be a card that can be cut. Not necessarily should be cut, but it can be cut. There are some combos where you can absolutely end on SP plus a Double Dragon Lords plus a Kit on board, but they're very situational, I would say, and most of the time you would just want to end on a Apo plus Revolt, but it's totally a possibility. And most of the times I just end on Double Dragon Lords when I can't kill, right, where I don't see the kill line. 1 SP, self-explanatory. The deck summons links for free, so an SP can just banish and break a board, make a board. It's pretty standard in almost any deck right now. Apple, well, one thing for sure is good, that this deck, while pure Fire Kings can't usually do it, this deck plays under Nib very easily, very easy. Why? Because not just only because you have Appaloosa, but because your combo for Apple Revolt is usually just 4 summons. How? Let's go back to the Sanctuary combo. The Sanctuary combo, popping any fire, you pop it, grab Garunix. Garunix is your first summon. Garunix sends Kit. Nerval, add Fractal. Fractal is your second summon. Fractal effect, banish 2. Bearbrum is your third summon. And then we get to Apple, right, as your 4th summon. So you don't only play under Nib, you also will end on Appaloosa, right? So yeah, Apple, standard. Zealantis, again, I might put it on screen. Zealantis is due to the very good combos that we have that bridge our TRI-Brigade engine into our Fire King engine. This, I consider these combos to be a staple for the deck. You need to know them, you need to have them, and at the end of the day, they win you a lot of games. Access code is one thing that I'm testing now, since as I mentioned, Double Dragon Lords is a card that I'm mainly going for now when I can't go for the kill line, and well, access code just facilitates the kill line very easy. That's a new card that I'm testing. It hasn't come up, so I consider, again, double Dragon Lords and access code as, well, cards that can be cut for other things, right? But at the meantime, they're the most valuable things that I've encountered. And for the next 4 cards, it being Linkuriboh, Alan Mirage, Sunlight Wolf, and Heat Soul. This would be the Heat Soul line. It's a line that I consider it to be standard in your pure builds. Like, if you're not running in your pure builds, you're not even playing the deck correctly, in my opinion, because most of the time any Fire King combo ends on this, which is just 2 extra draws on top of your standard combo. I prefer to have 2 additional cards in hand. The reason for it being in the TRI-Brigade build now, well, as mentioned before, it's a very good combo. When you only open Fire King cards, you have to end on something. You can't just make an SP and pass, which is practically impossible because you won't end with Gideon in hand. This fixes that problem while going through the notions of the combo, adding Gideon to hand. There you go. You already completed your cycle for the Fire King combo, and on top of that, you're drawing 2 more cards. It's just necessary. It's a free +2. The deck doesn't have space for IP plus Amblo. Well, that's why I'm not playing those. Although it's something that I could consider if I would cut the double Dragon Lords and the access code. It's totally possible to also have those type of interruptions, right? All the XYZ, self-explanatory, part of the combo. And Sky Crisis. Sky Crisis is a very good card. One niche interaction is if you're very tied up in the notions of breaking a board, one thing you can do is, after banishing with Omen, you can go into a Bear Brum with your TRI-Brigade and the Omen that you just summoned. You banish the card, go into that, make the Bear Brum, summon Sky Crisis over the Bear Brum. This is while you're breaking a board. Use Sky Crisis effect, detach, use Bear Brum, add Revolt, and well, Sky Crisis can just crash into something, right? So that alone, being any TRI-Brigade with 4 in graveyard, is already like 3 cards for the opponent, because you banish one with Omen, you return one with hand with Sky Crisis, and you attack over something else. So that's good enough, and you end on Revolt. So it's just too much value. There's no reasons to not play Sky Crisis, honestly. In this case, well, you do have the space, so you rather would do it, right? Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. Thank you again for watching, and I hope it gives you success as it's giving me at the moment. See you next time. Bye.